Ooh, that could only mean one thing. We're live at McLeod's. It's Loaded Dice podcast. Not the Loaded Dice, it's just Loaded Dice. And Melo's created an Instagram page, Loaded Dice Rollers, Instagram. Love you, Mel. Thank you. She's going to tell you about email and all that stuff on other podcasts. But this podcast, we're talking about McLeod Ale. Thank you, Emerald Knights. Thank you to Paizo. It's fun having everybody on board. Of course, we're always looking for an extra patron. We do this live at McLeod Ale in Van Nuys, California. And it's super fun. And I should mention our music sponsor is Leaving Richmond. If you haven't looked him up on Spotify, you want to get in there because this guy, we're playing music by him all the time. But really, if you're doing, like, if you're like me and you like to meditate out at work, like you're doing a graphic or you're writing up a paper and you really just kind of want to mellow out and listen to something really cool, check it out, man. Leaving Richmond. The guy's great. And of course, if you're a music supervisor, call him right away. That's my plug. Leaving Richmond. And it's not Virginia. We found out earlier. God, someplace else.
It's in Queens, New York, I believe. Wow. Richmond Heights, I think.
That's Will talking. Yeah, it's. I'm going to turn Will off, but we're going to continue on because this is Tom's. This is Tom's.
Yes.
His character story.
So
here, let me give you some cool music.
Yeah, I would love that. From Leaving Richmond.
I think this is our theme music.
Outside of what, Queens, New York?
Theme. Yeah, it's Leaving Richmond, outside of Queens, New York.
There we go.
And so, Tom, you have a really special guy. And when I say that, I wouldn't want to be this guy.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, he's not quite the short bus, if I can say that. I probably can't, but I did. He's unique. Let's put it that way.
He has everybody calls him a name. There's a name.
Yes.
That they call him.
His nickname is the Bitten.
Why would somebody be like? People heckle him. They say, "Oh, the Bitten is here," right? You come into a tavern or hotel and.
Well, it's
you're famous for this almost.
It's sort of. I mean, now around Galorian, he's really kind of become known as Story at least. So, and it really started. I mean, he's an outcast. He's a character that you don't really run into in regards to being unique because he's a wizard.
Wow.
And he's a dwarf.
Wait a minute.
He's a wizard dwarf, right? I mean,
you may be a first in this game to ever connect a wizard with a dwarf.
I know. I mean, I've never heard of a dwarf that's a wizard. That's crazy.
Dwizard.
Wizard. The Dwizard. I mean, we could. There you go.
Captain Dwizard.
We could do a Ben & Jerry's called the Dwizard. So Ben & Jerry's, we would love you as a sponsor. And we would love you to make flavors from
Dwizard.
all of our characters. So the first flavor you can make for us, Ben & Jerry's, is Dwizard.
The Dwizard.
The Dwizard. And it would be amazing. And we would thank you and love you for that. But yeah, I mean, he's
a Wizorf.
A Wizorf. That could be like a spin-off too. Yeah, he grew up originally from the Dwarven Five Kingdoms region.
Oh, the Five Kingdoms. These are now for those of you that don't know Pathfinder. 1 and 2 have sort of connected some dots, and the Five Kingdoms are where the dwarves reach for the sky, and they sort of had this domain, very strong domain, and they lived there for centuries, and it's sort of their base. And for some of you, you may be more familiar with something like Lord of the Rings, where there's a dwarf and the rest of them have died. In this world, dwarves are plentiful.
Yeah, hundreds of thousands.
Yeah, their race is thriving. As soon as they made it to the surface, they wanted to go back down. A dwarf's ultimate creed, like before you die as a dwarf, normally you want to carve your name into the deepest cavern you can.
Yes.
But you Tom, your character.
Well, my character's a little different. I mean, I was born the youngest of 5.
The Bitten.
The Bitten, exactly. But I wasn't always known as the Bitten, and that's the thing. I mean, it's a really, I had to kind of get there, and
break it down.
It's a little tragic, yeah. Born the youngest of 5. All my brothers were, they were bigger than me. They were thicker than me and stronger, and they all, like all dwarves, They wanted to go and to the depths, the greatest depths that they could, and mine and find precious stones. For me, I was born, weaker and skinnier.
Well, what's your strength? What's your strength?
Well, I actually am pretty strong, which is funny because I have a 15 strength, but my constitution was really low. So
what's that? What's your con?
It was, without the modifiers, it was 10 originally.
So you got 12.
So it's now, no, it's 11 now. So it's still
average in this game, 9.
Yeah,
you're not weak.
Yeah, but for he's still he's dwarven ancestry.
But you saw yourself as a weak dwarf.
I saw myself
in your mind.
Yeah,
you were the weak brother.
I was.
Will has something to say here.
I'm looking over the Pathfinder 2 E rules. I want to say the boosts that you get actually will add 2 to your score, not 1.
So I might have been. Actually, I was 9. I rolled a 9 for Constitution.
Okay. Thank you, Will.
Yeah,
Will's another player in this game. We love Will.
We do love Will. So yeah, I felt insecure and I didn't feel like I necessarily belonged. So while my clan and my family were known, I wouldn't say famous, but they were well known in that region for finding some amazing precious stones.
Wow.
And made a name for themselves. When they went into, the mines with the rest of the dwarves, I would really kind of sneak away and run along the mountain, where I really picked up a skill which is, pretty interesting, known as rock running. Because I wanted to make myself agile, and it was fun to be free, and it was fun to be away, and for whatever reason, I didn't long to be underground.
Why are you
which
running
I guess
on
maybe
the rocks? What are you running from?
Exactly. I was running from
your family.
I think what I was born to be, which to me it's not what I wanted to be at all. I mean, I wanted to find precious stones, but I wanted to find precious stones for another reason. I wanted to find precious stones to learn magic.
I've got your precious stones right here.
Oh, that's Jonathan. There's another player.
Those are 2 very precious
Walrus.
stones, and I will hold them close to my heart. But yeah, I mean, it's if you rub them together in the right way, well, that's a whole nother story. But yeah, I wanted to learn. I really wanted.
No.
They ignite with energy.
God.
They do, and they explode with energy too. But again, another story for another time. Look, I was interested in reading. And that dwarves are not interested normally in breeding. And I wanted to kind of, learn.
There's a weird.
I don't know. They're both gesturing to me they're waiting for me to say something, and I was like, oh no, I was just
Yeah, we're entranced. We're very enthralled. The story is gripping.
Yeah, it's gripping. So
sorry, that was just like I didn't realize you guys were waiting on me. I was like, I got nothing.
There we go.
Tom,
so
it is
all right, so let me. I'm going to go into. Let me go into my name and let me go into my story a little bit.
Oh. You hear that? Got a little dark.
It did. Leaving Richmond.
No, this is just sound effects.
Oh, really? Well, it should be leaving Richmond because
as you're running across the rocks. What are you thinking?
My name is Thurman. Thurman Tydron.
Uh-oh.
They call me the Bitten, but I wasn't always called the Bitten. Originally from the Five Kingdoms region, I was part of the Tydron clan, youngest of 5th, and born to Brannis and Lilith Tydron. Some say we were famous in the region, but I just think we were good at finding things, particular things, precious stones. I've never been interested in caving or carving my names into the depths of Golorian. That's for other dwarves. I was different than other dwarves, and my interest was in the arcane, in learning, in the mystic arts. Many families in the region, there was a prejudice against this, so I kept this secret, this urge, this passion. I kept it secret. I was scared, but yet enthralled and curious. There was a dwarf thousands of years ago that was one of very few like me that loved and sought out the mystic arts, and for that, magic killed thousands, tens of thousands.
Wait a minute. This. So what you're saying is that there was a dwarf a long time ago.
Yes.
In the Five Kingdoms that was in a mine shaft or something and was performing magic to probably help the mining, and something went wrong and killed a lot of people. Is that what you're, or dwarves?
That is what I'm saying.
Wow.
A dwarf named Nekreg.
Uh-oh.
He's a practitioner of the arcana arts. He collapsed the mines, sealing himself and many thousands in a tomb.
I had a Nekrig once.
Nekrig.
And I got some antibiotics and cleared it right up.
When I meet you, Walrus, I will grab your 2 precious stones
And ignite them?
and I will help you with your Nekthric.
Again, we're live at McLeod's. This is Loaded Dice. We are sponsored by McLeod Ale and Van Nuys. Paizo. Oh, Will. Are we sponsored by Will? That's handsome. That's a good headshot.
That is a really good headshot.
Post that on Loaded
really
Dice
good headshot.
Rollers.
That's a great
My
headshot.
dice are loaded now after looking at this headshot of Will.
Post it.
God.
Will, can you... Sorry, everybody listening.
I've got a serious Nekrig going on.
Will, we need to post that headshot. You're an actor and voiceover actor, and you need to put that on the Loaded Dice. Is it the Loaded Dice Instagram or just Loaded Dice?
So the tag is Loaded Dice Rollers.
Loaded Dice
and then
Rollers.
The podcast is like
It doesn't matter how you find Will Cabot. Casting directors, he's a handsome man.
okay. So that
He
picture
is, he's really handsome. He is.
that picture they just brought up,
good
just like
looking.
go off the rails entirely for a brief moment. That picture was like from an old modeling picture that I took like pre-moving out to LA. So this was like 4 or 5 years ago when we took that.
Oh, he's a model too. Okay,
He used to be.
I'm
Yeah.
so sorry. Versatile.
He's an underwear model.
Can we say
Victoria's Secret
Can we
model.
say triple threat? Triple threat. Role player, actor, and model.
You're a model for radio? For your
radio.
I'm a radio model.
And that's the most difficult of models, a radio model. The most difficult. And let me tell you guys and gals, he's pulling it off. Okay? He's pulling it off. But we digress. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
Back to the story of the Nekrig.
We've been interrupted. Maybe there's a way to like.
Poor Tom.
You know
Poor
what?
Tom.
Chris in Portland is the only guy listening to all these. Like he's told me, he can't stop listening.
I disagree.
And we love
I guarantee
Chris.
there's a lot of people here, and I guarantee you there's a bunch of people saying, "Get the other idiots off." I want to hear the rest of this awesome backstory of the
thank you.
Dwarven Wizard.
Thank you. No,
because
wait.
there isn't another podcast out there with a Dwarven Wizard, and it's
You're
a
right.
super awesome character.
You're right.
And we should shut the hell up.
Well,
Absolutely.
let me just say this too. Chris is not the only one listening. Steve Wynn.
From the Wynn Casinos?
Steve Wynn
He loves us.
will not leave me alone. And I'm just, I know he's obsessed with this game.
Well, winner, chicken dinner then.
and I
Sounds
just-
like an obvious sponsor right there.
Yeah, Steve, if you're listening, stop harassing me. Thank you.
Paizo, Emerald Knights, McLeod's, Leaving Richmond.
Leaving Richmond.
We love you.
And the Wynn Hotels.
But Wynn Hotels,
The
please.
Wynn Hotels
Please.
are amazing.
No.
Please
No,
sponsor
not
us.
yet. No, that's the thing. He like stalks me on email. And
So
then
he's got to earn it. He's got to earn it a little bit.
he's got to just come and play.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Steve, come down. We'll roll you in.
Yeah.
And be
Now
part.
with loaded
you know?
dice.
Yeah, loaded dice. Be part of this
He'll be
special
a gnome,
thing.
gnome rogue.
There you go.
A halfling rogue.
I like that.
All right.
And now back to our awesome backstory.
Thank you. Thank you.
So sorry,
Tyrell.
So I love drinking.
Yeah, well, you're at McLeod Ale. Live.
I love drinking McLeod Ale. And that's how I bonded with my brothers, and that's how I felt normal.
Okay, but something you had your chance to get away, right?
Well, I had my chance to get away because I was forced to get away, and that's because through the drinking and through bonding, I used to get into fights.
Oh.
You know, fighting was a way to prove that I was truly a dwarf, and my dwarven brothers.
So you would lash out in anger.
Well, I'd get drunk and not maybe lash out in anger, but challenged the biggest dwarf to prove that I was a dwarf, and
So they're saying, no, you're a hobbit?
no, they just were saying I was a weak ass dwarf, and for that
That's a WAD.
I
A weak ass dwarf.
WAD?
yes, there is
WMD.
something. WMD.
A WAD.
Yes,
Sorry.
Yes.
Please continue. Huh?
Yeah.
So I got my ass kicked a lot, which, for that, as a dwarf went into the mines, I'd run around the mountains and find crevices and practice magic and read books and do things that no one else in my clan was doing. But one night I got a little too drunk.
Hey, Thurman. We can talk about the time you found a cricket and you've crushed it up for components in a spell.
That was a good time. I remember that.
But I think what we should do is just kind of tell maybe.
Well, this is important. This
it
is an
is.
important part of the story
Okay.
because I got a little too drunk that night.
Oh.
I challenged someone I probably shouldn't have challenged. And as I was getting my ass kicked, I accidentally used my magic. And my magic showed the clan, showed everyone who I really was. And through that, I was outcast. My family turned their backs on me. My brothers, my elders, everybody, because I was arcane. I was evil. I was something that
Arcane
didn't
might
belong.
not be
Were you
evil.
arcane in the membrane?
I was.
Well,
that's another
First
story
of all,
too.
being arcane isn't evil, even a dwarf. It's just kind of an extra special power, potentially.
But
Sure, it's a dirty word back there.
Is it? In the Five Kingdoms?
Well, in Dwarven clans, sure. They're look. If you're not divine,
they're superstitious,
oh.
and for that, they
you're
look
not.
to me
You're
as a
not
bad
mine if you're not
superstition.
divine. That's the way it works with
You're
dwarves.
not mine.
If you're not divine.
Mine in two meanings.
Ooh, wow! I'm.
You're deeper than you thought.
I'm deeper than I'm deeper with the minds.
too deep.
Wow, we just
Too
went
deep.
Still too deep.
so deep, just
deep.
so deep.
So I was shunned. And
So
and,
long story
uh,
short, I was shunned.
I was shunned. I was outcast. I was thrown out like the garbage, and with that, as I was literally forced out of the village, I stole 2 objects that were close to my grandfather.
Wait a minute.
Wait, close proximity or like in adjacent to him?
Fell in your
Or-
pocket?
No, they were just close to him in regards to weapons and items that he has had from his grandfather and his father and on and on. And
So are you? You're not a very trustworthy person. Is that what you're saying?
I think he gets a break.
I'm
they
super
were chasing-
trustworthy.
Yeah, they were chasing him out of his home. But I do it just to set the scene. You were like, "Fuck it, you guys! I'm taking these and bailing. I'll show you."
Okay, wait a minute.
they
Whoa,
did
whoa,
not
whoa.
know I was taking them, and
Whoa.
I felt the only way that I could
Wait.
keep a semblance of who I am and where I was from was to have these items with me.
Basically, I'm taking granddad
No,
shit
wait.
with me.
Because
Wait.
I did not want to lose my identity, even though I was forced to lose my identity.
GM McLeod's is going to throw a roll in character pre-story. We're going to do a roll. Can you please throw a d20 and tell me what the results are?
Okay, I'm rolling a d20, Spence. Here we go.
This is pretty.
Okay, Spencer. Thanks.
It's a 18.
Ooh,
That sounds good.
no, that's not good.
Oh,
no,
that sounds bad.
As he shakes his head.
What is
Sounds bad.
What's your alignment, Tom?
I am neutral good.
Now you are just neutral for stealing your family's shit,
Wow.
True neutral.
and that's
True
how it
neutral.
feels. That's how it feels. You could earn it back potentially.
You know, you just ripped something away from Thurman,
Yeah, I know.
and through Thurman, you ripped something away from me.
I feel it. I feel the coldness go through this room.
You
kinda-
don't know how it feels.
Look, you can't see because this is a podcast, but there are 2 single tears streaming down Tom's face right now. And he's just staring lasers.
But you know why? You
at
know
Spencer.
why it's so impactful is because it's true. You know, as kids, we do these things and we live life like those regrets are carrying through in our adult life, right?
Yeah.
And,
no,
and
I mean,
so
it's,
I feel
you know,
for your guy completely, like 100%. That's what I love about it is like he was You know, and we all get cursed with these things as kids, right? And you try and fight for maybe you're the dominant player, but you have weaknesses too, and that's why you're dominant. And so we grow up with these things in play all the time. And I feel like your character, he might have won the Great Character Award.
Yeah, I would
Great
second
Character
that.
Award.
I would second that nomination.
Wow.
I would say
That's,
Tom's is the most interesting character here.
Most
absolutely.
interesting character.
Absolutely.
Well, you haven't even heard the best of it.
I'm sorry, diminished your alignment.
Yeah.
But besides
That's
destroying
okay.
your
You know
alignment,
what? It'll give me something. It'll give Thurman something to earn back.
Oh no.
You know.
but wait, there's more.
But wait, there's more. For $19.95, you too could.
Be
sponsoring
the
You could sponsor the Loaded Dice
Loaded
podcast.
Dice podcast for $20.
Yes.
Send it to Mel.
All right, send it to Mel.
We'll drink it right away.
Mel is amazing.
We'll drink it right away.
So shunned. I ran, and I ran
so
and
far away.
I ran down the mountain, barely surviving the journey to the bottom, to find myself meeting a group of shadow hunters. This mysterious caravan, and on death's door, or almost on death's door, with no food, no rations.
Wow.
Alone, scared, and defeated emotionally. I begged them to take me in, to help me, to nourish me, and in return I would help them and work for them as they made it to the region that they were headed toward, which is Razmirian.
Razmir.
Razmir.
And by the way, that area is ruled by a guy who claimed to be a god. So you got to get this area. It's by the lake, by the way. It's lovely, lakefront property.
Sounds like lakefront property.
And
just insane rulers.
Yeah,
who,
a sorcerer who claims, or I think he might be a wizard, but
God complexes.
God complex.
But aside from that, the summers are fabulous.
They are. And the property there is expensive.
For like,
it's just,
Well, I would imagine so.
yeah, it's
only for like 3 days of the year. It's perfect. It's Ustalav.
Summers in Ustalav.
We've
got vampires, but we've also got lovely beaches.
we've got mosquitoes and all types of mosquitoes, not just the ones that fly, but the one. So
I may rather be in Chelix, ruled by the devils.
How many times have I said that?
wow.
I'd rather be in
Well,
Chelix.
it's lawful.
Well, look, he didn't have many choices,
Okay.
right? And he was almost dead, and this was the first caravan he
So he
ran
took
up
the caravan.
against, and it was, he needed to. He needed companionship. He needed food. He needed nourishment. He needed. So through that, I worked many days with this interesting group, and
You guys are next.
Ooh,
berries.
I found that I started to feel as if I was healing and able to get back on my feet. But one particular night, many days into
Hell.
into our journey,
Oh.
I woke to flashing lights, to darkness, to coldness, to unthinkable things.
Was it a rave?
What was it a night? Were you having good dreams?
And as I felt that I woke, I saw this small child on my neck, biting in deep to my neck and taking and draining my life. I couldn't move, I could not yell, I could not do anything. But I remember a large figure, a shadow,
Wow.
from beyond coming in and pulling the child off me, and with great strength throwing him out of the caravan.
I would just like to interject that Pulling the Child is a great band name. But please continue.
It is a great.
If you kill his parents,
I mean,
Oh,
that's
then it's a Disney film.
well, no, that can be the first album.
well, this podcast is not brought to you by Disney.
Pulling the child, and then the first album is killing
no.
the parents. Yeah, so I mean, if you think of Thurman, then that's kind of what he got into, right? So then, when I woke in the morning,
Uh-oh.
just with the image of the man or the shadow and my hemorrhaging neck and the blood and the darkness, I realized that I wasn't here to serve. I was here as food.
Oh God!
And these
What an
weren't
awful
just
realization.
ordinary shadow hunters. These were vampires.
Right, Ulastov.
I needed to get away. And it took days until I could find that moment. But when I did, I ran and I ran and I ran and I did not stop, thinking that I could finally find some freedom, only to run into. We should do a boy band. We can do a boy band too.
Gotta get away.
Well, you're
People band.
That's true. Mel, come on. You know I love you,
Tom's
Mel.
I do too.
theme song.
I love you, Mel.
So you got.
So I got away. All right. So Thurman gets away.
Uh-huh.
Right. I mean, wow. Just think about all the stuff he went through from childhood to now, almost getting killed and life forced,
Wait,
sucked
we have
out
one
by these
person that-
vampires.
that has experience with this. Will, when you were abducted by vampires and you
Also a good band name. Abducted by Vampires.
It's already existed called Vampire
Did-
Weekend.
did
yeah, fuck those guys. Abducted by Vampires.
I mean,
They're the new up and comers.
The vampires, you're not you when you're hungry. I'm just saying.
hangry vampire?
Hangry Vampire.
Angry Vampire.
Hangry vampire.
Well, that's
That's
just
Tom is
band.
just a human
that's
snicker.
a great corporation name.
Did Tom just come up?
Hangry Vampire Inc.
Tom tastes
He
delicious.
just came up with a new
it's a new
podcast name.
hashtag. I mean,
Hangry
Vampire.
Vampire.
I'm gonna hashtag that.
All right, I'm gonna
Hashtag.
let Tom
hangry.
continue.
So-
Tom has the patience of a saint.
Thank
He's
you
been
for
like we've
Tom.
interrupted so many times
Well,
at this point.
by the way-
I feel so bad.
By the way, we're
It wasn't
sponsored.
me.
We're sponsored by McLeod Ale.
Yeah,
and
we're sponsored by
Paizo-
McLeod, Paizo,
Emerald Knights.
Emerald Knights. Our Instagram, Loaded
Love those
Dice
guys.
Rollers. Add us, hashtag us, Loaded Dice Rollers.
Please
and our
do.
email is loadeddicerollers@gmail.com if you have any questions or comments or
Wow.
want to join into mine and Tom's weekly bet that we're going to be talking about later.
Yes, and we have to.
And
figure
mood
that out.
music by Leaving Richmond.
Yeah.
Yes.
Love those
absolutely.
guys.
And not Virginia.
Not Virginia.
Yeah,
New York.
There you go. So,
Here goes
so
Tom.
now running close to the borders of Ustalav, Ustalav. I'm not Russian. Ustalav. Thinking I was free and safe. A band of, or a covet of witches named the White Brides found me.
Not the white. Now, the white brides are kind of famous, but they're good at disguise. So when you meet them, it's never quite what you think. So what happened?
Well, I thought that they were just a group of friendly women lost in the woods that could bring in.
Is this where the reputation for mail order Ustalav brides came from?
You're right. You're right. you send it out. Kurt has. Yeah.
Find your love today.
That could
White
bring me in,
wedding,
bring me back, give me salvation from the evil that I just experienced. But yet, they were even more evil. They were even more horrifying than the vampires, and I became a slave for weeks, for months.
Wait a minute. So wait, you went from being sucked on by vampires to saved by a coven of witches who then just enslaved you.
Yes, beautiful.
By the way-
women that I thought were going to help me and
Common dwarves are slaves to witches.
bring me salvation, but yet they enslaved me and they made me clean the chambers, and they made me clean everything in the chambers.
The pots?
I became the chamber pot dwarf,
Oh, God.
and I was in a deep despair.
Kurt
a
hasn't
deep,
had a say in this.
deep
I'm gonna
despair.
Bring Kurt into this. Chamber pots. He's cleaning chamber pots.
Well, we all fall to where we belong.
Oh no.
Says the half freaking orc.
We haven't met Kurt yet. We're gonna meet him next.
I know, but that's what I would tell him.
All right.
So, days and weeks and months and
I think it
who
was
knows, years went by.
20
And
years. 20 years went by.
A long time went by, and I read. That was the only thing that
let's
kept
roll
me
a
sane.
D100.
Oh, really? Are you going to make me now roll another
go ahead,
D100?
Kurt.
What
Yeah.
a neutral.
That's a lot of pots. All I'm saying is
That's
it's
a
lot
shit
of
ton
pots.
of pots.
I cleaned a lot of shit over 20 years. But. All right, here you go. Here's a 27,
Right,
27,
chair.
27.
27
20.
years. He was a slave to the witches for 27 years.
27 years. I
love random shit.
No, I have one more. Cool. 27 years I was enslaved, and I didn't know. The only way I survived was through reading and to get through the solitude. And one day, after learning enough arcane magic, I created my salvation, Nola. Nola, my guardian angel, my raven. The one who allowed me to see outside of this compound, to travel.
Nola's your familiar.
She is my familiar, and I love her very much.
What is she?
She is a raven.
Oh, Raven. I love that.
And
3 eyes or just 2?
No, she's 2 eyes.
Okay.
I have, I'm a one-eyed raven, but that's a whole different story too. But she's 2 eyes, and she gave me freedom when I had none. And so with that, she also had the unique ability to blink, to appear in the ethereal plane and then appear somewhere else. And I experienced things I had never thought were possible and saw things in a different light. And my soul was set free until the night that a marauding group of vampires attacked the witches.
Oh, God.
Again, it was blood and death
Dude,
and
your
darkness.
your guy's
Everywhere
been-
I've been,
Here's so much shit.
everywhere I've been, it's been blood and death.
Seems like
It's
you've
been-
been through a lot.
I've been through a lot. Mel, I have been through a lot. I've been through so much that
know.
the DM made me roll
minutes.
twice tonight.
I don't
mean,
need
that's
my
crazy.
DM to tell me shit anymore, Tom. I just gotta go off your back.
I mean, holy crap. This poor guy,
Twice.
this poor dwarf. I mean, right? The vampires are bad.
Thank God I'm with the witches.
Well,
We can all relate.
the marauding vampires, they...
We've all had that job that we
Witches,
came back
am I
to.
right?
Yes.
So wait,
Hello? Hello?
Wait. Oh.
Hello?
Oh,
Oh my goodness.
holy fuck shit.
Is it Dave?
Dave is called.
Dave?
Oh my god.
Where is our fucking trip to, a castle?
Wait. Dave?
Oh no.
We have a caller.
We have a call. Yes.
Oh my fucking god, it's Dave.
Dave.
Chip Buckwheat?
Oh, wait.
Yes,
Fuckwit.
just,
He died.
so start from the beginning and tell me everything. So, how are all of our characters
Hey,
developing?
Dave,
We're all dead.
Everyone's dead, Dave.
Now wait.
Everyone's dead.
Everyone's dead, Dave.
This is session 0.0, and we're
wait.
all dead. We did our character stories.
Again.
Tom rolled twice, and now he was originally a dwarf. Now he's a drow woman. So
nice.
he can't roll his way out of this.
Yeah, I can't catch a break, Dave. I'm sorry.
I love that Dave
man.
calls in. It's not, we need to get like a unique phone to have callers. Dave,
What are you doing, Dave?
I'm going to have a one-on-one with Dave real quick, guys.
Dave, what are
Sorry.
you doing?
There is
What are we
nothing
wearing?
wrong with being a drow woman as long as you're over 40.
All
I
right,
think
Dave.
that's what's important.
Now, wait a minute. You're calling in during Tom's character generation story. It's his backstory. He's introducing himself to the world. And I just want to say, if you're calling in, to at least call in and be clear with your communication. Like, get the phone pointing at your face. Are you on US? What are you speaking on?
Oh, I'm on an iPhone.
Really? So, are you speaking in space? Are you in space? Because it sounds like Mel's with me on this one. Are you in space?
Where are you?
Oh, does it really? Oh no, I'm in San Jose, so I'm just at home. That's all.
Well, luckily, Mel, we aren't sponsored. Dave, thank God you brought
hold on.
that.
Let me do something here. Let me. I think I know what the problem is. Hold on.
We're
Yeah?
not sponsored by Apple. which is just so we can just bag on Apple.
We'd love
Hold on.
to be sponsored by
Oh,
Apple.
yeah.
We'd
there's-
love to
I'm
be
gonna get
sponsored
off.
by
I
Apple.
don't think so. We cuss too much on this show.
I mean,
Yeah.
all of us
No.
are pretty much
I'm gonna
using
get off
iPads.
Wi-Fi.
No, listen, Steve Wynn.
I was on
Is this Steve Wynn? This isn't Dave. This is Steve Wynn calling in again. Is this Steve?
Again?
Is this you, Steve? Steve?
No, it's not Steve. It's not just Dave.
Okay, because Steve Wynn keeps calling in Dave, and I have to
Oh,
say,
okay.
I'm going to have to do a restraining order. I don't know. Can you do that over?
No, don't do a restraining order.
Can you do, Jonathan?
Okay,
can you do
well,
that?
I need
Just
to know, I
Spencer
need
would.
to know.
You could just stand on
I
the other
need
side
to
of the
know
table.
what
and
other-
leave us-
I would say,
I need to know where the character-
restrainingorder.com can help you out with that.
Oh, very good.
You're a
Dave.
one-stop shop for all your restraining order needs.
All right, Dave.
So how many characters are completely developed?
5.
Define complete.
Well,
okay,
we
so
haven't.
Tom's the last one.
We have 2 left. Tom's in the middle of it
call-
right now,
you
Dave.
You did call. So, Dave, a little backup. Wait.
Tom has another 30 minutes to go before he's done.
Yeah.
And then we've got his entire
It's been
backstory.
36
Then we can
minutes,
start
but
the backstory.
We did abduct his. We abducted. So, Dave, let me do a little background here. So, the first dwarf wizard ever in Pathfinder 2E, and you can look this up at the Guinness Book of World Records. This is the very first dwarf wizard in
Official.
Pathfinder 2E, and you guys can back me up on this, has been created by Tom. So Tom,
Wow.
yeah. And so Tom has been outcast by his minor friends, his families, who said, you know what, you're not interested in drilling through Earth or Galorian, so get out of here. So he basically bailed. He fell into the arms of some vampires. When he went down the mountain, he was really just out of juice, and they kind of took him in, and they took more of his juice called dwarf juice.
Dwarf juice.
Have you had that, Dave? Dwarf juice?
I have not, but I'm wondering if it's something like me, so I'm not sure.
Sounds a little homoerotic, but we'll go with
It's
it.
a slight
Yeah.
ting when it goes down
Yeah.
the throat.
It tingles?
A slight ting.
Oh,
Not tingles.
It's tang.
It's a ting.
ting.
What an interesting character.
Yeah. So, Dave, it's when you drink dwarf blood, evidently,
Yeah.
it's like drinking Tang in the 80s.
Ting.
1980.
Yeah.
No,
Fanta.
I'm just thinking it's
Fanta.
something like, I'm thinking it's something like True Blood. You know how they drink tea?
It's
You know?
Mel
Yeah.
said ting specifically.
I know.
For
everybody-
I brought it to Tang.
For everybody that heard that and then was suddenly physically
Tang.
crippled by the
Tang.
Right.
the comment.
Welcome.
So
Yes.
Dave, and then he broke free of the vampires because some coven of witches called the
Yeah.
white the white brides or something. white
No,
wedding.
white-
Nah.
Yes, the white bride.
White brides. Thank you, Tom. The white brides abducted him and enslaved him for 27 years, and then he found a moment to break free.
Good.
He was good.
He was that good to
He
hold
was-
on
he-
to for
It's the
27
ting,
years.
man.
The ting. Dave, if you've ever cleaned
Mel.
a
You're welcome.
a pot where somebody has shat in it,
Yeah.
A shat pot?
shat pot. His dwarf was doing it the
Shat
best.
pot!
And then he escaped to only be clutched by other vampires. And that's when you called in. Is this right, Tom?
Those are like rebound vampires.
Well, I wasn't really captured again by the other vampires.
Also a great band name, Rebound Vampires.
But yes, the
Why
marauding
all do
vampires.
vampires. Change it up a little bit.
I mean,
So Tom, let's. So what happened? You
The marauding vampires basically
Tell
they
Dave.
destroy the witches. They kill the witches. There's this huge battle. I'm able to make it
Were
out.
the witch is hot.
They were hot when I met them, but they were witches.
Okay.
You know, I mean,
Dave, you've fallen for that before, yes?
and they made me clean their
They're
shit
always
pots. I
hot
mean,
in
they're-
the beginning.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
27 years of cleaning shit.
And as
Not-
soon
I
as
mean,
you
they
move
wear
in-
a lot of white.
No, as soon as you move in with them, it all goes out.
Yeah.
It all goes to shit.
It's
Exactly.
really like
There you
once
go.
you get comfortable,
Yeah.
it just
Oh,
the excitement
God, there was,
just dies.
TMI the whole time, but 27 years of it. So then I finally get out, Dave, with the help of my familiar, Lola. Not Lola, Nola, I'm sorry.
la
But
la 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 la.
maybe I'll call her Lola.
Wait, what familiar does a dwarf have? A dwarf is it
Well,
like
I'm a-
a crush?
I'm
Or is
a-
that, I mean, what? I don't get it. What would that mean?
I'm a wizard and it's a raven.
Okay, I can see that.
So
Yeah,
even
I
though I'm
can
a
see that.
dwarf, remember,
Okay.
I'm a wizard. You know, I'm a smart
Yeah,
dwarf.
Yeah, okay. I got it.
Do any of you guys listen to animations? Does anybody recognize? Well, maybe you. Well, actually, you're probably pretty young. Does anybody recognize this voice? Oh, who's the wizard?
Oh.
Anybody? Dave. Actually, Dave might know. The caller. Who's the wizard?
Yeah.
Who's the wizard?
Who's the wizard?
God damn it.
Oh, who's the wizard?
It's like it's pre Bruce
Family
from Family
Guy.
Guy. No.
No.
It's
It's
way
way
Family
old.
Guy.
It's old.
Way older.
Yeah.
I
than
can't
that.
think of it.
You know what? If it
It's,
was on Family Guy, it was inspired by this film.
Yes.
It is a
No, that's the
rated
thing.
X animation from the 70s.
Oh wait, was that
Heavy Metal?
Heavy Metal, yeah.
Oh, dude, that is an epic
No.
movie.
That is an
Excellent,
epic movie.
excellent
Was that
movie.
not-
But I believe
Metal?
Spencer is quoting Felix the Cat.
It's the makers of Felix, and they ran
Wow.
out of money.
That's awesome.
And they made this movie for $110,000.
Wow.
And it's called Dirty Duck.
Dirty
I don't know that one.
And if you haven't found it, Dave's renting it tonight.
I'm going to go.
We don't want to know what you're going to do with
Thank
Dirty
you,
Duck.
sponsor. Sponsored by Paizo. McLeod Ale.
They're all nice.
Duck.
Dave playing Dirty Duck,
Follow
sponsored by
that.
Paizo.
Well, what's great about that is you know what Dave
And
is
McLeod's
actually
out.
going to really enjoy.
He's
that
gonna
movie.
rent it.
He's gonna love the movie.
Dude,
Fucking
He's
love
gonna
it.
really like it.
it's an epic journey. It's epic.
He's gonna
That's what the kids are calling it
Right.
nowadays.
It is
It's
rated X.
Epic journey.
Rated X.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I'm gonna,
Excellent, Dave.
definitely be there next week for sure. Just to
well,
watch,
we're launching live.
Let's take that
So-
bet. Is Dave
No,
actually-
Dave's going to be here. Here's the thing.
No,
Next-
So that's
Be
next
there.
week's
I'm gonna
bet.
be
But
there
we'll
with
let,
Brad.
take
We'll do
it.
next
All
week.
right, so if he shows,
Yeah.
then
You'll get a.
Do it for drinks.
No,
Now-
we'll do it for
Yeah,
drinks.
Now
Yeah,
wait.
we're going to do it for
Drinks.
drinks. So what
Now
do you want
wait,
to do?
we
Do
have-
you want to
we have
bet that
to
he
give-
shows or not?
Yeah.
I like to watch.
Well, that's just too much information, Dave.
He might have
Too
named the
much information.
He might have named the podcast like the
I
watch.
like to watch.
Now here's the thing, David. We are going live next week at McLeod Ale, and we need the audience to kind of harass Jonathan specifically because he does not know what the fuck he's doing, and support Kurt because Kurt is going to rule this. We're taking bets, right? We're gambling here in Los Angeles. We're sponsored by an Indian tribe. Van Nuys is actually. Oh
my God.
What just happened there?
Are we playing on an Indian barrel?
Yeah, are we in the upside down?
Hold on a second. Well, I didn't
Yeah,
get
we're in
any
the
proper
outside.
I haven't seen
participation.
Why
you.
is why is Kurt my arch nemesis now? What don't I know?
Yeah.
I'm part Cherokee. I'm just saying, like an eighth.
Close
Maybe a
enough.
16th.
I want odds.
What Indian
I don't know.
casino do we want to play
My
at?
money's on John.
Hey, thanks, Dave. Love you, buddy.
Yeah,
All right.
my money's on John. On
But I don't understand why Kurt and I are in opposition anyway.
It just has to be.
Well,
Spoilers.
it's like
Start
that,
listening.
It's like that girl you went to you went to elementary school and junior high school, and then as soon as you went to high school,
Listen, in
she didn't
defense
talk to
in
you.
defense of Kurt,
That's
Kurt's a
what
lot
it's
more
like.
attractive than the girl that I went to high school with. So even with the
See, and I'm going to agree with you on that.
even with the York teeth. Yep.
What she's going to call in. It's
Kurt's a handsome man. You can't see, but he's a handsome
He's a
man.
very handsome man.
Right? See, that Dave knows.
oh, and that's it for Tom's character generation.
Good time for the outro. Dwarf Wizard, ladies and gentlemen. Dwarf Wizard. Bitten by vampires. Bitten by vampires.
Ever.
Yes, he only heard. How much did we get through?
The Bitten, ladies and gentlemen. The
cutting
Bitten.
him off.
The bitten.
Like,
More like a story got
peanut gallery.
Bitten
Poor
once
Tom.
again.
I wouldn't
Thanks,
say you
Dave.
bitten. I would say more like devoured by all the other idiots at the table.
Dave,
Devoured by idiots.
Dave,
The
you-
Dwarf Wizard.
That's
You're
a great
called-
band name.
Dwarf Wizard.
Devoured by idiots.
I agree with you.
Man, Tom's
Doesn't have to do with
character
vampires.
creation has 3 great band names. If you're listening and you take one, please just credit a Loaded Dice Rollers
Loaded Dice Rollers.
at
Sponsored by-
Instagram.
Yep.
Or do we have a Facebook yet?
Not yet.
You can
Probably
always-
Loaded Dice Rollers
Right.
as well.
You can always go to GM McLeod's.
Yes,
with,
GM
It's
McLeod's.
plural. Don't go to that guy without the S. I don't know who that guy is.
That's awkward.
And just come to McLeod Ale in Van Nuys, California, and have some beer.
We're doing it